Hello, everyone.
Hi, we're so excited you're here. It's so nice seeing everybody in the chat shouting out where they're from. Welcome.
Yeah, welcome to orientation. Hello. I see someone is up in New Zealand. It's 4 a.m. Thank you so much for getting up early, staying up late, whatever you're doing. We appreciate it. We got people from all over the world here. Hey, Bez. Good to see you. Hey, everybody. Oh, man, this is so great. Wonderful.
Well, as everybody's looking for familiar names in the chat, we'll add some more to your list. My name is Grace. I'm one of the board members for the Tabletop Mentorship Program. My pronouns are they, them.
And I'm Mike. I am the executive director of the Tabletop Mentorship Program. Pronouns are he. We are very excited.
Yeah. In the spirit of excitement, as everybody's gathering, so we're going to give everybody another minute to get here. I want to lead we're going to make a chat waterfall today. So I want you to take a moment to think about how you're feeling about this upcoming mentorship session and pick one word to summarize your feelings. It doesn't have to represent all of them, but just select one word that represents how you're feeling about the mentorship program. And in a moment, I'm going to ask you to type it into the chat, but not hit send. We're going to do a countdown and everybody's going to hit send at once. We're going to see a beautiful waterfall of everybody's emotions. So take a moment, select a word about how you're feeling. Mike, you pick a word too.
Yeah.
Put it in the chat.
And I'll say, I'll put it in the chat.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put it in the chat.
So everybody go ahead and prep your word. You're going to type it into the chat, but don't hit send yet.
Okay.
And then I think we're going to count it down now. We'll do a 3, 2, 1, go, and then hit send. So 3, 2, 1, go. Hit send. Send your feelings.
There's a delay, so as we have to wait.
We're on the other side of the water.
Oh my gosh, that was so many words.
Oh, that's perfect. So everybody take a second and scroll through and look and see that you're not alone in how you're feeling. I see a lot of people are excited. We are excited too, but someone who's supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. Well done. But you're not in this alone. There are so many people feeling so many things, and we're excited also to have you all with us. So we are going to go through our orientation slideshow today. We have a lot to get through here. So, I'm putting some of them up on the chat screen. I love it.
Yeah,
Hi.
So many people excited. This is great. Curious. Love that one.
The all caps but just like
Yeah.
Y'all are great. We're so excited to have you here. So let's go ahead and jump into our orientation slideshow.
All right. Wonderful. Well, here we are. Tabletop Mentorship Program. Orientation for our 2022 session of the Mentorship Program. And yes, like it says, we are so glad you are here. Welcome to the program. Just to give you a little background, if you're new to our organization, we started in 2019 as a way to sort of give the community an opportunity to experience mentorship. It's not something that I had necessarily seen before on sort of a large scale open platform. And I wanted to, just kind of provide that because I've had a lot of mentors in my life and a couple in particular in tabletop that have shrunk my journey from where I started to where I am by so much and just give me so much knowledge and their experience. And I wanted to try to give that gift to other people. So that's why we're here. We do 3-month mentorships throughout the year. We're doing one this year, and then next year we're going to go to a 2-year schedule, 2 mentorship sessions of 3 months. And this is our 8th session. We've been doing this for a little while now. This is really exciting, and we're very glad you're here.
Put that on every slide.
Yeah, I think so.
So the guideline for orientation today, just to get you an idea of what we're going to be doing today. First, we're going to talk about how to start your mentorship off on the right foot, talk a little bit about some guidelines and expectations so that you feel confident going into your first meeting. And has anybody had their first meeting yet? Shout it out in the chat if you were like so eager and ready that you've already met with your partner. After that, we're going to talk about beyond your mentorship. We do offer some supplemental programs during these next 3 months to give you additional opportunities to learn and grow and connect with your fellow members in the program. So we'll talk about that. Then we're going to go into our advice and Q&A section, what we're really excited about. We've got some fabulous past participants of the program who are going to share their experiences and let you ask some of your questions so you can hear from somebody who's done it very recently. And then we're going to have a reflective game led by another of our board members to get you thinking about your goals and energized moving forward.
Excellent. All right, so let's start with meeting your partner. Everyone should have gotten their emails that introduce you to your partner. If for whatever reason you haven't gotten that email, please let us know. You can reach out to us at tabletopmentorshipprogram@gmail.com or reach out to me through the Discord as well. So kind of the basics about your mentorship. The only really hard requirement is that everyone meets twice a month, right? At least 6 times throughout your mentorship. And the meetings should last at least 30 minutes. Obviously, they are allowed to go longer, but a minimum of 30 minutes twice a month is what we require to be part of the mentorship. And then pick a meeting style that's right for you. That could be through our Discord. We do have some voice channels that can be video channels where you can voice or video chat with your partner. But if that's not the right style for you, you prefer text, absolutely, totally fine. Find a good chat messaging app, or even if that's just email, whatever is right for you and your partner. Have that conversation through those matching emails that we sent you, right? That should be the first thing you all decide to do. It's important to start off on the right foot and that everybody is comfortable, right? Just making sure that we have a really strong partnership here. Wonderful. So yeah, like I said, this is a requirement. And then be flexible. If you schedule a meeting for a week from now and then something comes up, as life always comes up, don't be worried about having to reschedule. We're all, human beings, we're all adults here. We know that things happen, things get in the way. But if something does happen, don't just let it go, right? Always send that message to say, I'm so sorry, have to reschedule. What would, when would work best, that kind of thing. Always have your next meeting scheduled. Never leave it up in the air. So that way you have something to plan for. Wonderful. And then for your first meeting, get to know each other. This is a partnership. It's a relationship, this mentor-mentee relationship. So it's important to get to know a little bit about each other. What are your interests? What's your life like? What's your experience in tabletop? And then talk about mentoring style. As a mentee, what mentoring style do you prefer? What's the best that gets you motivated to, work towards your goals and finish your product? That's why in the application, we have 5 different mentorship styles, right? Do you need a cheerleader? Do you need someone just to give you encouragement, cheer you on, to spur you forward? Or do you need a challenger, someone to kind of hold you accountable and, give you some tasks, push you in the right direction? Do you need someone to help, connect you? Are you feeling a little lost? Like you don't know anyone in this industry, that kind of stuff. And then as a mentor side, how do you best convey your experiences, your knowledge? How best do you guide people, right? That's also important to talk about. Are you a natural cheerleader, but maybe you can adapt to be a little bit of a challenger, right? It's important to have that conversation right up front so that we all know what we're getting into and how the rest of the mentorship relationship is going to work, right? And then also talk about, obviously, projects and goals, right? What do you want to accomplish as a mentee? What's your project? What are you working on? And then what goals have you set to progress you towards completing that project? And remember, this is a 3-month mentorship, right? So, design and publish a game from start to finish, or, start a company and license your first game in 3 months is a lot, right? So pick manageable goals and talk about that in your meeting.
And I will say, Elliot in the chat asked, is there a list of that mentorship styles available somewhere? We will put that back in the Discord so that you'll have that for a reference. I'll let Mike put that in later on today so that you can see that again. Great
Definitely.
question.
Thank you.
So some guidelines for mentors, just some things to keep in mind as you start and develop your mentorship here. Be supportive and encouraging. That's what you're there to do, is help build up your mentee. Don't ask your mentee to do work for you. This isn't an internship. And even though they may get valuable experience by working on practice projects that you're connected to, the point of this mentorship is for them to work on their projects. So don't ask them to do work for you, even if you think it's a good opportunity. And similarly, don't do work for your mentee. Just because you're a great graphic designer doesn't mean you should do their graphic design. You want to use your experience to guide them along their journey, not do the work for them. And then remember, as a mentor, you are in a position of power. So be professional. This is a great relationship that you can build with each other. You can come out of this as fast friends. But remember that as a mentor, the balance is tipped, and that you do have more power in this relationship. And that's easy to forget and important to keep at the center as you're going forward as a leader here. And then for mentees, keep an open mind throughout this process. Don't take critical feedback personally. That can be so hard not to do. It's easy to put on a slide. It's hard to put into practice. But your mentor wants the best for you, wants you to succeed, and is sharing their experience. That doesn't mean you have to do everything that your mentor suggests or asks. This is still your project, and you still want to feel good about what you're doing. It still needs to connect with you. But don't take it personally if somebody offers feedback. It's not a criticism on you. It's just somebody trying to help your project get to the best point that it can. Don't ask your mentor to do work for you. Again, they're here to guide you, but they're not here to do that for you. They want to set you up for success. And be sure to work on your project between meetings. This one is really important. At the end of every meeting, you're going to set a goal for what you want to do before the next meeting so that you can come back with progress, with questions, and you'll be ready to move that relationship forward. And that way, when you come to the new meeting, you are going to actually have forward progress and be able to move forward. And just remember that your mentor wants to help you. In a lot of these situations, your mentor actually picked you. They looked at your application and said, this is someone I'm excited to meet. This is a project I believe in. This is something that I'm excited about. So they're excited to be here, and they really are here to support you. Guidelines for everyone: respect each other's time. Again, if you're not going to make a meeting, or if you're going to be late, communicate with each other and respect each other's boundaries. If somebody doesn't want to be contacted outside of meetings, honor that. If chats are okay, but videos aren't, again, just respect each other's boundaries and be sure you communicate about what those are. We want to make sure that everybody feels comfortable and safe in these pairings. Don't give each other gifts that can throw the power balance off and create a sense of expectation or obligation. It seems like a nice idea, but it's much less complicated if you leave gifts out of it. And then set a goal at the end of each meeting, as we talked about before, so that you'll be ready for the next one. And just show up for each other.
Wonderful. So what happens if it doesn't work out, right? We all start this with the best intentions, but sometimes just for whatever reason, for life reasons, possibly even personality reasons, it just doesn't work out. Examine why it's not working out first. Is there something that maybe it's just a miscommunication that you can talk to your partner about, right? Always try that first if it seems like that could be a path to getting back on the same page. And if that doesn't work, contact us, right? We're here to help you. We're here to support you throughout your mentorship. You can contact us through our email, through Discord, through Twitter, any way that we'd like to, and all those contact information is up on our website as well. We can't help if we don't know about it, right? We're going to send check-in emails about every 2 weeks just to kind of see how it's going, give you, some prompts, let you know about what programming is coming up. Those are great times to check in with us just to let us know if there are any issues. Yeah.
And really don't be afraid to reach out. We've had people reach out just because they're dealing with imposter syndrome and they need somebody who feels like they're in their corner to tell them to keep going or give them advice. If you've got questions, really don't be shy. Our whole team is really excited to help you out. And somebody did ask, can the slides be added to Discord later? We can absolutely share the slideshow with you so that you can have access to this. The recording of the orientation will also stay up on our YouTube channel.
Great question. Excellent. All right. So, hi, Matthew. So staying safe and healthy. Go ahead, Grace.
So we have a code of conduct. It's pretty robust. It's in your, everybody agreed to it when you joined the program. It's also in your welcome packet is the link to it. So you can always refer to that document. We do also have a link for anonymous reporting there. If you ever feel unsafe, uncomfortable, if there's anything you're concerned about, we believe in those tools. We take them really seriously. We have a safety team that reviews any code of conduct reports. So reach out to us. All of the tools are there in your welcome packet, however you need to. And again, email us at any time. That's another great way to do it. You can also reach out to any of the board members directly if that's a path that feels safer for you or more comfortable. And then on our next slide.
Oh, next slide. Oh, and I just want to mention
Yeah.
real quick, we do have an ombudsperson for our organization. So if you do need to reach out about someone that's on the board or someone involved in the organization, we do have a system in place for that, so that there is no bias in dealing with that. So just wanted to let you know that exists.
Yep. And then these are some resources for staying safe and healthy, both in and out of the program. We've got these links in the welcome packet as well. But for those of you in the US, there is the Games and Online Harassment Hotline. It's got specific hours that are shown in the thread here. You just text support to the number listed there, and you can reach out for an emotional support connection there if you need to. Again, whether that's about the program or not, it's just a great resource to know about. And then Take This is a program you may have seen partnered with the PAX conventions. You can find a lot of mental health and support resources on their website. And again, that link is part of your welcome packet. So going on beyond your mentorship, like we said, we do a lot of supplemental programs as well to help enhance your experience here and give you a lot more to learn and connect with each other. So we're going to talk about some of those.
Yeah, and so something that we started a couple sessions ago that has been really, really wonderful. It's a speaker series. It's a free educational series where we will have live stream talks right here on this YouTube channel. They're hour-long talks where there'll be a Q&A section at the end. We've reached out to a bunch of industry experts. And so this session, you can expect James Mendez-Hodes, Reina Medina, and Heather O'Neill to give some talks. So we're really excited about that. And also for the speaker series this session, we have a new host, board game designer, chat host, and board member of the Tabletop Mentorship Program, Sen-Foong Lim, will be the host for this series. So we thank him for doing all of that, putting a lot of work in behind the scenes for this.
Yeah. And if you've been to one of the speaker series presentations before in the past, if you want to shout out like your favorite talk, we have all of them archived on our YouTube channel and on our website. So you can see talks about graphic design and all sorts of things. If you had a favorite one that you attended that you really got some stuff out of, feel free to shout it out in the chat. We'd love to hear what you connected with. It does help us also plan for more great content in the future. And the speaker series does cover TTRPGs, board games, art and illustration, kind of the gamut. So we will go back and forth between different kind of parts of the industry so that everybody's got some support there.
Yeah. And we do have, all of our past speaker series are archived on our YouTube. So if you just switch over to our playlist, you can see all of our speaker series in the past. And there are some really good evergreen talks there, which is what we aim for. So yeah, please take advantage of those as well if you can. And then roundtable discussions. This is one of our most popular events. This is going to take place in our Discord. So if you haven't joined that yet, please do. Those links are in the link for that is in your email and your welcome packet. If you have any trouble joining that, please, of course, let me know. But they will be August 20th and the 21st. And what it's going to happen is we're going to have people, mentors, pick a topic that they want to lead. And then we're going to gather a group together. You're going to let us know what you're interested in, what you're available for. We'll kind of run it through some spreadsheet magic and create these little small groups of 7 to 10 people where you can have a really small private discussion led by an expert in that area. And again, this is something that people really, really have loved in the past. We love putting this on. And this is powered by Jeff Beck and Tim Fowers at Tabletop Network, and we're really excited to keep partnering with them. So just wanted to say that. Wonderful.
We're also going to have a pitcher game weekend. We'll have more information about this as the session goes on, since it is towards the end of the mentorship, but it will be a variety of events for people who are preparing to pitch their games to publishers.
Excellent. And then this is something, I am so excited about. Protospiel Online has partnered with us for this session to generously donate free badges to their online event, Protospiel Online, on August 26th to the 28th. This is incredibly generous of them to do this for us. All those instructions to claim your badge is in your email. You can come as just a playtester or playtest your board game or TTRPG. Let us know if you're having any trouble, redeeming your badge or anything like that. And they also have a buddy match system, which the date is escaping me. But if you register before, I think July, before next week, if you get your free badge by then, I believe you'll be in their buddy match system. So it'll match you with another attendee to kind of help you prepare for Protospiel Online.
Yeah, make those friends.
Absolutely. And just, okay, wonderful.
And somebody asked real quick, what times are the speaker series and roundtable discussions? So those times will come out closer to the dates. Speaker series, I think most of them will be around 6 p.m. Eastern time. Again, they'll be recorded to view later as well. But as we get those dates and details secured with each speaker and with the roundtable leaders, that information will be sent to you through email.
Yeah, the roundtables, I will say, happen throughout the day, right? So like it'll be over the weekend, but it might be like a 12-hour window where there will be like, 10 or so different roundtables. So there should be a time. Yeah, there should be a time that works for everyone. Wonderful. Great question. And then, a Break My Game playtest. Break My Game, if you're not familiar, is a wonderful IRL and online playtesting group. They run an incredible Discord, actually helped us get set up a little bit with ours. And they're going to run playtesting sessions for us on July 31st and September 4th. So you got a little bit of time to prepare your sort of online prototype for that. Now, that'll happen on our Discord. They're doing it in partnership with us on our Tabletop Mentorship Program Discord channel. Come as a playtester or come with your own games. The only thing I want to mention for Break My Game and Protospiel Online is that they do not work with a tabletop simulator. So they don't allow that program to be tested at their events. But there are tons of resources if you haven't made the transition yet to ScreenTop or Tabletopia or another sort of online playtesting platform. They both have a lot of resources about how to transition into that. So they're really, really helpful about all that stuff. Yes. BMG is absolutely fantastic. I agree. Wonderful.
So we have a couple of things that are new for this session. We always do an exit survey at the end of the session and get a lot of feedback. And so some of the things that we learned is that everybody is looking for more ways to connect with the community. Everybody wants to meet other people who are going through this program. And so we came up with a couple of resources inspired and created by some of our other board members that we're excited to share.
Yes, we are. I'm sorry. I was looking up so someone had a question here. Are the badges for Protospiel Online for playtester and designer? And yes, I believe they are. I will double check that, and I'll put that answer either in, if I get that now, in here, or I'll put it in the Discord later. But great question. I'll star that one there. Make sure I get that answered. All right, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so new for this session.
So we're going to have affinity groups. So these are going to be small groups that meet on Discord as regularly or as irregularly as the group decides. These are going to be community led, but our team is going to help organize and facilitate them. This was organized by our team member, Raven. We're so excited to have her guidance on this. And it'll be a chance for you to meet on Discord, have a casual chat through the channel, and have regular meetings as you feel led to build relationships with others who share your identities and your interests. And we will send out a form for that sometime soon so that you can sign up for those.
Yep.
Same with the TTRPG reading group led by Alex, another one of our amazing board members. This is going to be a chance for everybody who wants to gather and play one game per month and then come together to discuss that experience, share your feelings and thoughts on it. More details on that will come out soon as well.
Wonderful. All right. So let's talk real quick about getting yourself set up for success.
Just see people being really excited for Alex.
Yeah, I know. This is amazing.
As well you should.
As well you should. We are also excited. Love it.
Hey, stick around if you're excited for Alex, because they're the one leading the reflective game at the end of our session.
That's right. Awesome. So, setting yourself up for success. One of the best things you could do for that is actually to set up your goals, right? Set effective goals. You can't work towards something if you don't know what you're working toward, right? So think about what's achievable in 3 months. Yeah. In your application, we asked you to sort of define some of your goals. And we know that was, some weeks ago. So maybe some of those have changed. So it's always good to revisit them. And be specific as possible when you're thinking about what goals you want, right? What concrete thing can I complete, or even what abstract thing can I complete within this time frame, right? What can I complete by my next meeting? What can I complete in a month? And what can I complete in 3 months? Kind of build it out that way. Write it down and track it. We have a tracker in our welcome packet that you're welcome to use, or obviously you can use whichever way is comfortable for yourself. Create those benchmarks and check-ins to keep yourself on task, right? I'm a person who, if you don't see me write it down, it's not going to happen. I just forget so much immediately, and I have to write it down. So make sure you have some way to do that, to create like, oh yeah, I was supposed to do this by this point, especially during meetings, setting those goals for the next meeting. Make sure you have it written down somewhere. And then be flexible, right? Things will change. We have exit surveys at the end of our session where we ask about, what were the challenges, what were the stumbling blocks of your mentorship, and did you complete, your goals, or did they change? And very, very often we will hear that, the goals changed almost immediately, right? Someone was like, I just need to get my Kickstarter launched, and in 3 months, I just want to have my Kickstarter launched. And then they meet with their mentor, they talk with a little bit, and they find out they're not even close to that part of their journey yet, right? They've got a lot more groundwork to lay before they get there. And that's absolutely okay, right? Absolutely okay. You can totally change your goals. Just make sure that they are, when you recess them, that they are achievable. And that, again, this is, it could be considered criticism, but please don't take it personally. All throughout your mentorship, you should be reevaluating your goals, and is this achievable? Am I working toward it at a rate that think I'm going to complete it, or do I need to kind of set myself some easier goals that I can feel good about accomplishing, right? That kind of stuff. So again, don't worry if things change. Happens all the time. You are not alone. Be flexible in your mentorship.
So here is some advice from previous mentees who have been through the program. This is what they shared in their exit surveys, that they would pass along to other people. Make a schedule and stick to it. Try to learn as much as possible, and don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, and set realistic goals and work regularly towards them. And then this one's a big one. Take your time developing your goals. Be super critical and detailed on specific actions to accomplish one or more goals during the 3-month process. Remember to be flexible and give grace when it is needed, but remain focused on each step until the goal is achieved. Ask for help always, and be humble and honest throughout the mentorship, and you'll do really well. And the number one piece of advice for mentees is do not be afraid to ask questions. It's important.
Yes. I mean, your mentor is here because they want to help. They want to answer your questions. They want to guide you. So yeah, please don't be afraid. That's why they're here. And then advice from mentors, right? Figure out what your mentee needs, not what you think they need. Be prepared for how much work it is, how exhausting it can be, and how much of it is actually emotional work, right? Keep an open mind, ask questions, and never assume anything, right? We always want to try to be on the same page with our partner there. And then remember to give advice and guidance, but not do things for them directly, right? Provide those resources, but not finished products. Connect them to people you know. People also work at their own pace and follow the thing most interesting to them. So don't be disappointed if they decide to take a long weekend with family instead of make a sell sheet, right? But do reschedule meetings if there's nothing to discuss yet. And this is all advice from past mentors, right?
And I will say in connection with that last thought there, do reschedule meetings if there's nothing to discuss yet. It is also okay to have a meeting to talk about why you weren't unable to meet your goals from the last. Yep. If you said, I'm going to play test 3 times, and then your meeting is coming up and you haven't done it at all, it can also be a really worthwhile meeting to say, I'm not sure why I'm having trouble with this. How can I move past this block?
Absolutely. Great point. And then our favorite advice from our mentors is listen carefully to your mentees, right? You can't help them if you don't know what they're trying to do, right? Listen carefully to your mentees. Wonderful. So now we come to the portion where we're going to bring on a past mentor and mentee to help give you their experience of the program, right? We saw in our little chat waterfall, there's a lot of excitement, but there was also some nerves, right? So we're going to bring on some folk who are going to help calm those nerves and give you an expectation of what to expect. We've got Ellie Dix and Allison Shepard, who were a mentor and a mentee, respectively, in our program. And right now, we're going to bring on our mentor, Ellie Dix, into the stream. Hello, Ellie. How are you?
Hello, very well. I'm pleased to be here.
Yeah, wonderful. We're so happy you could be here. So we brought you on to just speak about being a mentor in the last session. And you're also signed up for this session as well, which is really wonderful. So taking those lessons and applying them here. And we're just going to turn it over to you for just a few minutes to talk about your experiences. Thank you so much.
Sure. Yeah, so last session was my first session as a mentor. And I was really nervous beforehand. I was worried that I maybe didn't have enough experience and that I should have been doing this for 20 years before becoming a mentor rather than a few years. And I was a little bit worried about, who I was going to get and whether I'd have a good relationship with them and if everything would click. I think that's really important as you move forward. But I was also really excited. I was excited about meeting somebody that I could just talk games with all the time. And we did so much talking games. It was brilliant. And I was really also keen to be useful. And I think you can't underestimate the kind of value of that to yourself as a person, to help somebody else get over those tricky situations that you've got experience doing as well. And we had quite a lot of successes. My mentee was successful in that he achieved the goal he set out at the beginning of the program, the big goal of creating a game that he could play with his students. So he's a teacher, and he fell into the sort of trap of loads and loads of ideas and not really taking any of those ideas through to an actual game. And that's why he signed up for the program, to have somebody to help him go through that process. And he got there. He had a game that he made up, that he played with students, that he played with a load of other people, and that was brilliant. It was really successful. It was great. But of course, it wasn't plain sailing, and you wouldn't expect it to be plain sailing. The reason that people often can't get there by themselves is that they have some, a few like stumbling blocks and things that you have to get over, and those things need working on and talking through. And sometimes there were challenges around the time zone, and he was great because he used to get up really early, and we'd have meetings at his time, 5 o'clock in the morning, when he was already at school. Just amazing. It made life much easier for both of us. And yeah, sometimes it's baby steps. Okay, let's think about the main goal that we're trying to get to, or that you're trying to get to in your project. But what can we do now? What's the next little step to get there? And I think as a mentor, not worrying too much about, oh my God, can I help this person make a game in 3 months, or do whatever their big goal is. Instead think, okay, can I help them do what they need to do next session? And then we get there bit by bit. And I think that's really helpful to focus on that. One of the reasons I joined up to be a mentor, and why I think it's so important, is that we all learn from other people. And as designers, we learn so much from other designers that we have the opportunity to play games with, or test prototypes with, and discuss ideas with. And I absolutely rely on this myself as a designer, and for my own personal and professional development. And so it's really important to me that I give back to other people and make sure I'm available too. And I think we also, all of us suffer from imposter syndrome at some point to varying degrees. And I've noticed how loads of people who are designing games, possibly quite a few games, still don't call themselves a game designer. And that's one of the things that we can do as mentors, is to help people see, no, you are a game designer. That's what you're doing. You're designing games, and to have the kind of self-confidence to say, no, I can do this. I think also as a mentor, you learn lots from vocalizing your own thoughts about things, just talking through things with other people. And you can help your mentee have moments of inspiration. And it's wonderful when that happens. Sort of, oh my God, I've had this brilliant idea. But also you end up having brilliant ideas that are something to do with what you're working on as well, just by having those conversations. And it's so rich, those very dedicated conversations about nitty bitty bits of design, or whatever the challenges you're trying to do. It helps you get unstuck as well as helping them get unstuck, and gives you ideas and inspiration as well. And I think one of the tricky things I think that sometimes holds people back from being mentors is, or makes people feel nervous about it, is that they think that they, ought to be at the top of their own game. And really, I think, from my experience doing this last year, you just need relevant experience. You just need to have gone through what your mentee is trying to go through, or have something relevant in your experience, and then you're away. And you can help them avoid the pitfalls and help them focus on the important things. You don't need to have all the answers. You just have to be prepared to ask questions and discuss things and listen. That is really good advice. And design can be a really lonely business. We're often all working on our own individually, and having these mentoring relationships, all of these community tools that we've got through this program, is an amazing way for us all to develop relationships and connections. And it just makes us grow stronger as we're building our networks. Thank you.
Yay!
That was amazing advice. It's such a valuable experience to share. I love the thoughts on that you don't have to know everything, because it's so true. And you're right. Everybody thinks they need to be the master of all to be able to help.
No, nobody is. Who is? Who's the master of all?
Exactly. Oh, wonderful. Ellie, that was fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that for our mentors here. We're going to switch over to our mentee guest, and then we're going to bring you back, Ellie, for a Q&A with everyone. Sound good?
Yep.
All right. Wonderful. Wonderful. See you in a bit. All right. And welcome to the stream, Allison Shepard. Hello.
Hello. Hello.
All right, wonderful. We're so happy to have you on as our one of our past mentees to talk about what it's like from that side of the relationship. So we're going to let you talk for a few minutes, and then we'll all come back for a Q&A. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Sounds great. All right, everyone. So I actually just joined the program last year as well. It was my first year, and I'm not participating this year because my work schedule is so crazy, but I had a ton of fun last year. So for some background, I designed a few games in my work in libraries before I joined the program. I joined as a mentee, not working on a specific game project, but because I wanted to learn more about the game industry as a whole, and to focus on games and education and meeting some folks who did that kind of work. So I worked with Grace Collins, who's the founder of Snow Bright Studios. They were very cool to work with. They shared a lot about their experience working in game design. They also were really helpful in introducing me to other folks who did educational game design in the community. And they were someone I really felt comfortable asking a ton of questions about their experience and how they applied their past work history to the types of games that they make now. They were also in the middle of running a Kickstarter last year for their game Tea Time Adventures, which is a tabletop role-playing game. So it was really cool to learn about that from the backside of that as well. Really, if I could give any advice for folks who are doing this for the first time, or who are a mentee and are feeling a little bit nervous, you get out of the program what you put in. Participate as much as you can, or as much as you feel comfortable. Really, the biggest challenge for me being part of the program was finding times to meet, because I was actively making a career transition and making time for interview processes and to get ready for those. So rescheduling meetings when you can is really helpful, and just being upfront about your schedule and what you can handle at the time when you're having meetings. I also did a lot of the sessions that they had for speaker series. Two that I enjoyed the most were the Nobody Knows What They're Doing session by Sophie Williams, and then Making Games for Colorblind Friendly from Will Gaviola was really cool too. I also got to participate in one of the playtesting sessions and test out one of the other Mentee's games, which was a ton of fun. And I attended a ton of the roundtables. Any of those that you can attend, you'll get to know people in the community and get to have really engaging conversations. I went to some about rapid prototyping, pitching games, making sell sheets. There was even one for games and education, which was perfect for me. And then I went to one about online playtesting as well. So just overall, really positive experience. I learned a lot. I met a lot of really cool people through this program. And if you have any questions for me after this, I'm still in the Discord, so you can reach out, or you can find me on Twitter as well. Thank you all very much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you, Allison. I really appreciate that. Thank you for talking about the challenges as well. People are so nervous that oh, it's, how am I going to navigate this, this new situation, right? Like you said, you were a new mentee last session, and you bumped up against challenges and you handled them, right? They're going to come along the way, but they're not insurmountable, right?
Yeah, just be flexible. You can get around anything.
Wonderful. Excellent. Well, we're going to bring Ellie back for our Q&A.
And I'm going to dip out at this point. So I wish you all luck in your journey. Mike is going to see you through the rest of orientation. So if you're thinking of questions to ask your guides here, go ahead and throw those in the chat. And I wish you all the best of luck this session.
Thank you, Grace. Wonderful. All right. Welcome back, Ellie. So this is the Q&A portion of our orientation. So if you have any questions at all about, what's going to come up, what we've mentioned so far, specific questions about, being a mentor or being a mentee, or even questions for me about the program itself and any of the organizational things that are going on or the programming that's happening, please ask, and we'll get to as many of those as possible. One question I did want to answer from earlier is that the Proto Spiel, the free badge does apply to playtesters and designers. In fact, it also applies to press and publishers as well. And I'm going to post that link in the chat, which will let you know all that information and how to redeem your free code. All right, awesome. And so Bez has a question for you, Allison. Which is, what is your Twitter?
So I put it in the chat as well. I'm at Allison L. Shepherd. I'm not super duper active on Twitter. I follow a ton of game designers and other folks in the community. But if you have questions, definitely feel free to reach out. I'm on it a lot. I just don't tweet a lot.
Excellent. We also have a comment here from Nick that was assigned 2 mentees. Now, they're fine with it, but was wondering if this was a mistake. Ellie, how many mentees did you have last session? And one this session as well?
I've got 1 this session. But there is a question in the mentor questionnaire to say if you want how many mentees you're happy to have. Maybe you checked that you were happy to have more than 1. I don't know.
Yeah, we definitely allow up to 3. That's kind of our cap, and there are only a few mentors who choose that many, because it is quite a commitment, not only in time, but again also that emotional labor and keeping three people straight as well can be difficult. But no, 2 is absolutely fine. That is probably our most common choice as far, or maybe split half and half between 1 and 2. But yeah, it's definitely not too many. Meet with each one, on alternate weeks, and you're going to do fine. It's going to be totally fine. Someone here is saying their mentor has 3 mentees this year, right? And they're still excited about that. So that's awesome. Yeah, and Heather here, Heather, who's going to give a speaker series talk later, says they have more than one by choice as well. So yeah, it's absolutely doable as long as you feel comfortable and have the time available to you. Yeah, okay, wonderful. We have another question here from Misha. As a mentee, how can I help reduce the emotional labor load on my mentor?
That's a really good question. I can kind of start to answer that a little bit, and then other folks can weigh in. So I think being upfront about where you are emotionally is really helpful. Letting them know if you've got other stuff going on in your personal life that might impact your work in the program. Of course, don't unload all of that stuff on them. Try to keep your conversations mostly focused on the game that you're working on or the things that you want to learn from them. But I think being very upfront can let them know where you're coming from and why you might react in certain ways.
I think also the mentors are going to expect some emotion. You know, you're not supposed to come to this and close all of that part of you off. You know, it is emotional when you're, you know, what we're asking you to do a lot of the time is to challenge yourself and stretch yourself a little bit more than you might do by yourself. And that's really difficult. It can be emotional. And life gets in the way, and that happens to everybody. It doesn't matter if you have a meltdown. We can deal with that. You know, we're used to that ourselves. I mean, I have meltdowns all the time. So.
Yeah, no one is free from that.
No, I was a mentee last year as well as a mentor, and I had plenty of meltdown situations. And it's just like you would with, you know, a person who's sitting with you in the room. You're working through that. It's a relationship that you're building. It's not supposed to be, you know, you don't have to keep that stuff out of there. But of course, there may be boundaries. Your mentor might say something, okay, this is getting this, you know, I'm going to have to draw a line here. I think we need to do X, Y, or Z, or you need to talk to someone else about that. And that's fine. That is, the mentor should really take control over what the boundaries are there and let the mentee know the kind of, if they cross them.
Excellent. And then they call him asks, is there a link to other computer programs to put your prototype on? Yes, there are. I've linked in the chat to Protospiel's list and also some guides. It's a wonderful resource that they put together, which is useful not only for their event, but also for the Break My Game playtest events on our server. So absolutely. How do you suggest keeping work-life balance with the Tabletop Mentorship Program during these 3 months? I too have a very busy schedule, but I'm excited and nervous for this opportunity. I'm going to turn it over to you both because I don't have an answer for that.
Make it achievable. When the goals that you're setting, keep them small. If you haven't got loads of time, just think, well, what can I do in the next week? Have I got half an hour? Have I got an hour? Have I maybe got an afternoon? Not every week, for sure. So what can you do in the next week or next 2 weeks? And don't try and, you know, don't make it difficult for yourself because you're less likely to accomplish stuff.
Absolutely. And when it comes to the events, the speaker series are recorded. If you can't attend at the time that they're at, don't worry about it. You can watch them later on this channel. I actually, for one of the weekends where they had roundtables, attended like 4 in a day, which was probably overkill and a little bit too much. But I had such a good time that I got through the first 2 and I was like, okay, I'm attending the other 2 as well. I have the energy for that today. But if you have a busy schedule, don't stress about the stuff you can't attend. Just take advantage of the stuff that you can.
Wonderful. Great advice. Great advice. Know your boundaries and know that your boundaries are okay and worth protecting. We have a question here that is it not cool for all 3 of us to meet up? And I assume that maybe, you know, a mentor and 2 mentees. Yes, it is not cool. Try to keep, if you have multiple mentees, try to keep them separate or, you know, not try, please keep them separate. You know, you want to make sure that each of your mentees is getting that individual attention, right? And we're not trying to sort of efficiently run, you know, several mentorships at the same time, because it ends up, you know, your mentee would end up feeling that they're not getting the attention. And, you know, if you're, especially if your projects are way different, then, you know, like the advice you're getting is not useful for them, you know? So absolutely, please keep those separate. Make sure you're having individual meetings with one mentee and then a separate meeting with another mentee. But a great question. Thank you for that. We have another question here from Dan. Do you feel that the mentor-mentee relationship is exclusive to the 3 months?
Again, that's a boundary thing, and that depends on what relationship you develop over those 3 months. I'm still in touch with my mentee and my mentor from last year, but not on the same regular basis that I was during the program. And I think that the structure that we have during the program is really useful for a project-based goal. And then after that, I don't want to lose my relationship with those people. I put a lot into those relationships, and I want to continue those things for ages and hopefully ever. So, and I still meet up with my mentee, but just very irregularly. Like, we need to meet up. So I'm going to write it in my diary now.
I agree 100%. It's up to you if it's a relationship you want to continue. I had such a great time working with Grace that we still keep in touch. I updated them when I switched jobs because I was job hunting during the program, and we've kept in touch through their Kickstarters and just to update each other on what we're doing. So, yeah, it's definitely an option. It's up to you and your mentor or mentee whether that's something you want to continue or not.
Absolutely. And I know, from our side, sort of giving sort of seeing more people that, there are some mentorships that, like you said, they do continue on, not in this probably the same way where they meet every week or every other week, but they do continue that relationship. And then there are some that just end at the 3 months. That's what everyone signed up for, right? Is the 3 months. So if that's if that ends up being your mentorship, please don't feel bad about that. That is sort of, the maximum that we are asking of everyone. So if your partner says, this was so wonderful, I'm glad we helped, and then I'm going to take a step back now and then do my own thing, that's totally okay. Know that that's okay. Please don't feel bad about that. And then Maxwell just, I think, is referring to the last question that, yes, there is some anonymity in this program as far as who is your mentor and who is your mentee. In the Discord, there is a mentor-only channel and a mentee-only channel. And we do ask that you don't reveal any identifying information about your partner without their consent, right? So, not that this is like a secret organization or a secret relationship, but, we do want to maintain a level of privacy where consent has not been given. So good follow-up there. And then there's a question here. Is there an expectation that the mentees will give mentors feedback as well? That's an interesting question. And I guess it depends on what you mean by feedback. Like we said earlier, have that first meeting where you talk about your expectations. If over the course of your mentorship, your mentor is sort of not acting in a way that you thought they would, like you stated you want a cheerleader and they're not really doing a lot of cheerleading for you, whereas previously they said they would, absolutely, bring that up, in a respectful manner, right? Let them know that something is not working 100%. You can give that kind of feedback. But if you mean like feedback on their project, no, there's no expectation that you are giving your mentor feedback about stuff that they're working on without it having something to do with your mentorship as far as you gaining some knowledge. If they're trying to explain something to you or show you a model of what they're doing and how it might apply to yours, then yeah, but absolutely don't work on any projects of theirs. Does that you all have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I mean, I think in a mentor-mentee discussion, ideally, these things are going to come up naturally. That just like the mentor will give, the mentee feedback on where they're going and how they're approaching things. I think there's a level of expectation that you're going to get feedback from the mentee about how well you're doing as a mentor, or at least if you're not, if you're doing a great job and you're really and as a mentee you're really appreciating what they're doing, tell them, because then they know that they're doing the right thing, and they're probably worried about how much they're helping and whether they're, doing what you need. And if they're not, then just steering them and saying, okay, I need a little bit more of that. That was brilliant what you just said. Can I have more of that? That's really, really helpful, because that's a positive way of helping the mentor give you what you need. But yeah, if you need to say, actually, that isn't helpful, and the reason it's not helpful is because of this, this, and this. And again, what I need you to do is this. So always say what I need you to do if they're not doing what you need.
Excellent. Yeah. And then they wrote back to clarify that, they meant it from the perspective you were speaking of there. And from a past mentor here, they're letting you know it's actually really helpful, like you just said, to know whether or not you're doing something at least close to what is expected or needed, right? Like we said earlier, every mentor here signed up because they want to mentor, right? No one is here because they were obligated or, they're being paid to be here. They're here under their own volition, and they're donating their time generously with a specific goal in mind, and that is to help you. So yeah, absolutely give the feedback if it's not working out for any reason.
Exactly, Rob.
Feedback goes both ways. Make sure you're sharing it. Make sure it's constructive.
Mm-hmm.
I will say I gave my mentor feedback on, they introduced me to some folks to talk about educational games. And I was like, man, that was a great conversation. I would love to have more of those. Is there someone else you can introduce me to? And you may have a goal that you start with at the start of the program, and your goal shifts over time. So giving feedback on how they can best help you is going to make the relationship better.
Absolutely. Awesome. Wonderful. And yeah, we're seeing a lot of people agree with everything you've just said. So I hope that instills that answer to everyone watching here. Fantastic. All right. Wonderful. Do we have any other questions before we move on? This is sort of like a last call here. I see that someone is asking if they're surprised they're not being paid in cookies. Yep. I'm so sorry. That is something that we're working on. Trying to send cookies all over the world is a really, if you think sending and manufacturing gains right now is a logistical nightmare, then, you have no idea what's going on with cookies behind the scenes. So, but we're working on it. I promise you we're working on it. Okay, wonderful. Oh boy. Okay. Everyone's agreeing very quickly to this cookie scenario that I'm clearly joking about. So I just want that to be on record. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all the questions, and we are now devolving into a cookie discussion. Oh, wait a minute, there's one more, and I think this is a good one to sort of end on here, which is, are there any common mistakes or problems that you'd want to caution people about? Which we talked about a little bit. In both of your, the sort of challenges that you guys faced in your mentorships. From my perspective, from sort of the emails that we get or the messages we get, throughout someone's mentorship, the common problems from our perspective are communication, just either a long lapse in communication or just, hearing nothing at all from the start. And those are problems that you absolutely come to us and we'll help you address. We have contact and alternate contacts for everyone in the program. So if you're having trouble getting in touch with them, let us know and we will try our best to make sure we find a way to get in contact with them.
Yeah, and scheduling.
Yeah.
It's a boring thing, but it's usually, it's often a real problem. But you just have to, work around that, knowing it might be a bit tricky.
Yeah,
definitely. If you set a meeting, make the meeting a priority, and if it won't work out, communicate with the person. It's probably the best advice I could give around that specifically.
And don't worry if your goal changes. We've sort of, mentioned this before, but it will, and you might not accomplish the big thing you set out at the beginning to, but if the process is useful and if you're learning stuff, or if you're able to, to support your mentee or gain as a mentee, then, it's still a worthwhile process.
Yeah. And also let us know. One of the things we can't, we can't fix what we don't know, like we said before. And that, from our perspective, sometimes is an issue. Like I said before, and you both have filled these out, which we so appreciate, are the exit surveys. At the end of every session, we ask everybody, a bunch of questions about their experiences. And every single time we use something from those surveys to improve the next session, or several things from those surveys to improve the next session. Excuse me. And sometimes we hear about people's problems for the first time in exit surveys. So a common mistake on our end is not communicating to us, those problems earlier. And maybe we could have helped with that, or maybe we could have, explained or, done anything just to try to make those not problems for the rest of the mentorship, right? So please, don't let that be the first time we find out about something, because we really do want to help, like the mentors who want to be here, the board members and the executive director also want to be here, right? We are continuing to run this organization because we believe in it and because we think it's so important. And then I think we got one more question, and then we'll move on here, which is how much contact between meetings is expected and appropriate. And I think this is a really good question to answer.
Yeah, it just depends. It depends on the couple. It depends on what the challenge is. If you've got a goal between meetings and you're not sure how to approach that as a mentee, and you're getting stuck, reach out, have a conversation, say, can you just answer a couple of questions? It's about what the situation and what the relationship calls for, and how much each of the pair is happy to do that. I certainly had discussions by email with my mentor and my mentee last session, in between sessions sometimes, and sometimes not at all. And sometimes if a meeting was cancelled for some reason and we had a big gap, then I made sure as a mentor that I did communicate just to check that they were all right. And, if you miss out that meeting for any reason, then just keep in touch and make sure that they're still okay. But yeah, that's how long is a piece of string. You're not expected to do anything between meetings, but I think it's appropriate to answer questions and to check in.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think this is a really good question to ask your mentor and mentee in your first meeting. Like, how comfortable are you with me reaching out between meetings? Have any questions is okay to ask. There's also a question a little bit later in the chat, like, what's the most appropriate way to reach out? Ask the person you're working with. Do you prefer email, or do you prefer that I contact you on Discord? I used a little bit of both with my mentor. We didn't email a ton between meetings, but occasionally I would have questions come up and be like, hey, can we chat about this before we meet? So just chat about it. Find out what their boundaries are.
Wonderful. And yeah, if you need to reach out to us, I put in the chat a link to our website, which in the About Us section, which has the various ways to contact us, email or Twitter. And then also the Discord is a fine way to contact me as well. I should appear at the top of the list of the mentor list. Of the member list of our Discord, Mike Belsel, the admin. So just, right click, message me, and I can take care of that as well and help answer your questions. Wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you both so much, Allison, Ellie, for being here and giving our incoming members a glimpse into what it's going to be like the next 3 months, and hopefully assuaging some of those fears, some of those nerves, and setting them up for success. I can't thank you enough. Thank you both so much.
You're very welcome.
Happy to be here. Hope you all have fun.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, everyone say bye to Ellie and Allison, and let them know how much you appreciated them in the chat. Thank you both again, and I'll see you next time.
Thanks. Bye.
Bye. Wonderful. All right. Well, we're going to move forward here with our orientation, and we're just going to do one more thing before we get done here, and it's game time. So we are going to do a little bit of a reflective game with for our goals, and that's going to be led by our board member, Alex. And I'm going to hand it over to them, to sort of explain what we're going to do. Let's take it away, Alex.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Tabletop Mentorship Program. My name is Alex and I am a TTRPG designer, writer, and illustrator. And it's so exciting to have you all here. I will be heading a lot of the TTRPG programming that you'll see this session. And if you have any questions, I'm typically lurking in the TTRPG design channel, and so don't be afraid to poke me if you have any questions, or you want to join in any of the TTRPG programming that will happen. It's going to be a super exciting journey for both mentors and mentees, and I can't wait for all the learning and fun to be had. But first, we're going to be doing some goal setting. That's right, we're going to be seeing what is it that we want to accomplish at the end of this session. We only have a couple of months, but we're going to make it fun because we're going to be making it into a game. Yes, it's going to be a game. It's going to be fun, and we're going to be doing it lightning fast, and we're going to be doing it reflectively. So for this game, I'll need everyone to pull out a paper and some pens. Time is relative for me, so I'm just going to give everyone a minute to scramble around. It's really good to be able to physically, in your hand, have something to write on, because it really just moves the brain forward. Okay, great. Hopefully you got a paper or pen. If you haven't, if people feel like they need more time, you can pause this video and you can unpause it when you feel like you're ready. Okay, great. So this game is called Standing Ovation. It's going to involve some visualization, it's going to involve some details, it's going to be really great. So I'm going to ask you at the end of this session, what is your goal? Write it down. Write down your goal. Put it right up at top. What do you want to achieve at the end of this session? Yeah, write it now. You can do it. And then I want everyone to close their eyes and imagine that they have achieved their goal. You've achieved your goal, and there is a crowd of your friends and family around you cheering you on. They're like saying, ah, yes, you've achieved your goal. Can you imagine it? You got the details? Great. So I want you to think of as many details as possible. What is happening in the scene? What has happened when your goal has been achieved? Think of the details. And then let's work backwards. Write down what the achievement was and what are the steps that you needed to get there. So write down these steps. I'm going to give you some time to do that. In fact, you can pause this video right now for 5 minutes if you need, and then replay once you're all done that 5 minutes. Sounds great. You got those 5 minutes. And so what has happened through these steps of goal setting is this activity teaches backwards goal setting. You have to be starting with your ultimate goal and think about the smaller goals it'll take to help you there. Backwards goal setting makes steps clearer and reduces any confusion that the traditional goal setting might cause. And so And many of you have already thought of SMART goals. You've probably heard of SMART goals: specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time bound. And so you want to make sure that your goal is as detailed and as clear as possible, measurable. Define how you'll measure the success. So what are the markers that you have achieved your goal? Achievable. Make sure that it is achievable in the amount of time that you have, and it's relevant, that it aligns with the values that you have and contributes to what you want to what your ultimate goal is. And so think about what is really valuable to you. If you need to, you can do a small journaling exercise by yourself, which is write down what's important to you, what's your values in this space to you, what do you really want from the space, and always try to make your goals surrounding these values, and make sure they're time bound. So set a beginning date and end date. Recognize what tools you need. Do you need an accountability buddy? Do you need someone to give you tasks? So be as specific as possible, and don't be afraid to ask for help. Don't be afraid to learn. Don't be afraid to read. And so give yourself a pat on the back, because you are here. You're taking the first steps. And that's okay if you don't achieve your goal by the end of it, because you started something. You showed up, and be kind to yourself. You're already halfway there. What is it that they say? Success is already just 80% showing up. So you need to do the rest of the hard work. And so again, welcome to the mentorship program. I'm so excited to have all of you here, and don't be afraid to poke me in the channel. See you later. Bye.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you to Alex for doing that for us. And I hope you all have a really fun goal setting game sketched out in front of you. Feel free to post any pics of that in our Discord. And speaking of our Discord, we are now going to, I just want to say before we do that, good luck to everyone in the program. You can find more resources, financial opportunities, other mentorships, and other resources on our website, tabletopmentorship.org, if you need any support there. And after this, it's about to end, but join us for a little Discord social. We're all going to meet in Discord in the general voice chat channel in the social corner and hang out. We're just going to chat. If you have any other questions for me, you can feel free to ask them there, and I'll help answer those. And then we're just going to hang out and get a chance to meet each other. So thank you to everyone who watched this orientation and for being here and for participating. This is really nice. And I'm so excited for everything to come your way over the next 3 months. Wonderful. Well, with that, I'm going to head over to Discord. And I will say goodbye for you now, but thank you so much and good luck.